So, as promised, here's to my third posting on LinkedIn. A general response to a few people needing to keep their jobs for now, waking up with a pit in their stomach most days, increasingly questioning their abilities and wanting a way out, while staying employed with or working under a psychopath. So, the job climate is tight. You love what you do, but you've noticed that you're being held back from getting the information you need to do your job. Or worse yet, you're being accused of things that you haven't even done or aren't your responsibility to do. It's really odd. You've tried to think through why this is happening and stay up at night pondering varied ways to fix it. Clear your name, or even better approach the possible nightmare in your office. You need this job. You've tried to keep low and just stick to going in and doing a good job, but it just doesn't seem to be enough. You've started doubting your abilities and you feel stuck on where to from here. It's dawning on you that your colleague or manager may be the reason you're struggling to get ahead. Kept out of important meetings or accused of work failings when it seems like this is so far from the truth. Maybe your manager is a psychopath. But how would you even know? Realistically, what difference does it make? You're just going to have to kind of put up with it anyway. While I may now have years of research in this field, I've been where you are, woken up sick to my core at the thought of work, and I've wondered what the way out was. Before taking on further studies in psychopathy and neuroscience, I would have thought there was only one option: quitting. I'm here to help empower you. You have more options. First, let go of the Netflix-inspired images, a raging, aggressive psychopath on a killing spree, or that odd colleague that seems way out of place, or even an overtly cruel manager in the office. Here's something many either don't know or they don't have the heart to tell you. Psychopaths thrive in an office environment. They'll usually seek comfort and power with a small group of vulnerable yet powerful people who share, and they can share in turn their case of how hard it is to work with or manage you, how sorry they feel about you, the endless steps they've taken to help you, and yet feel compelled to share that as a star of this "they're the victim" storyline, manipulate the group into a new reality where you are at fault. Choose a flavor, XYZ. It's often something they've felt guilty of or even have been accused of by another previously. Psychopathy has gained increasing attention among researching peers who over the years have discovered that sadly, psychopaths are hard to spot until it's too late. Clients and friends often share that they never see them coming. They are infamously good at blending in and therefore difficult to identify. If you're in a workplace, they're often the ones who are successful and in positions of power and responsibility. I know, right? The irony that the office monster may just be your head of finance, HR, or legal, the very people you should be able to trust. If you're at a work function, they're socializing in the room and more often seen boasting about their achievements. How tough sometimes people can be, possibly you, to work with or even manage. It's not fair. And straight up, I can't change this. What I can do is arm you with some clarity around things to look out for and ways to thrive in an environment mutually shared with your monster psychopath. What follows are 7 key common psychopath traits to look for when considering whether you're held back by and resultantly feeling sick to your stomach about is because you're working with a psychopath or possibly some other reason. 1, they watch you carefully. Unlike your eye, you're viewed more as prey. They're showing up as someone who is listening carefully, and often they won't blink or show any emotion, or possibly show too much emotion when speaking with you. They're on autopilot response mode and are scanning you for weaknesses. 2. An office psychopath is often charming when approaching their victim. Something seems off and shallow about their charm. They don't seem to care and to actually have heard you. 3. When a psychopath targets their victim, they prepare them with a variety of activities or tactics like giving of gifts, favours, or just generally offering their help when others are in earshot. This is done to win trust and encourage submission with one main aim: to facilitate mental abuse. Think belittling comments, threats, etc. later on. 4. They will appear as a saviour, pretending they have something you want or need, and then earn your trust and threaten to take it away to manipulate you. 5. They will try to use you with an end goal to get something from you. Example would be humiliating you or manipulating you into achieving their goals. Often they'll embrace others to help formulate a group view that you've done something wrong or are the problem. 6. More often than not, they have trouble controlling their desires, often seen as very impulsive and unable to focus things on for a long time. Finding ways to randomly call out their varied achievements is often a telltale. 7. They will almost always isolate you both mentally and physically. This way they can better manipulate you in a one-on-one setting, knowing that they're remotely kind of more likely to get away with their crimes and that there's no support buddy to back you up. They thrive in this environment. So, if you're working with a psychopath, here's 5 tangible strategies to help you overcome the challenge of coexisting in a workplace with them. Let's face it, these are difficult times, and with bills to pay, etc., you might not have the luxury of quitting as soon as you identify many of these aforementioned 7 traits. So, breathe in, you'll get through this. And hey, if you master it, it'll mean you can likely thrive in any tricky environment where you find yourself working with a psychopath. So, 1. Actively be mindful of your emotions and try to keep them in check. Showing your frustration or sadness gives a psychopath more power over you, opening up an opportunity for them to manipulate your emotions. Be careful, 2, and limited in how much sympathy you give them. Try to keep discussions centered around facts and the task at hand. Psychopaths often use long-winded storylines where they're the victim, and they'll often blame others for wrongdoings. A lot of sympathy gives them power over this storyline they're creating for you and telling others. 3. Don't feel the need to placate them. Stand your ground in an assertive but respectful manner. Psychopaths often use intimidation to control you or others, and they're often vigilantly looking for ways to intimidate, make subtle, underhanded threats, all the while often still smiling and assuring you that if you take their advice, follow their counsel, etc., you'll be okay. Report incidents that feel like bullying harassment to HR, and if your business has an employee assistance program, call them and have a chat. Sometimes vocally sharing with a neutral party is enough to make you feel so much better about the situation you're facing. 4. Reframe the story. To tactfully call out facts or turn the story back on them. An easy example that often works to disarm them is, "Hey, are you okay? I saw how you responded in today's call, and I just wanted to know, and I wondered if you're stressed out." 5. Where possible, try to put things in writing. A 2016 study published in the science journal Personality and Individual Differences found that psychopaths excel at negotiating when they're communicating face-to-face. Online conversations make it difficult, if not impossible, for them to charm their way into a better deal. So, consider requesting all communication occur via email if you can. If they manage to corner you in an informal meeting, follow up with a written email. They are in their prime when you've been isolated. I was once told that I wasn't to speak to my manager about anything I was working on or challenges I was facing. I was told that it was inappropriate and unacceptable, and they'd find out if I did, and I'd pay. For an unhealthy period of time, they'd successfully intimidated me. Here's to a new empowered you. Hopefully these actions and insights help bring you clarity and a feeling of being more free. Sometimes it's not only about someone with expertise in HR and neuroscience. Sometimes you want someone who truly gets you, not because they've read about it, but because they've been through the same trenches and they've come out the other side thriving and are able to give you real, actionable insights and steps. If you find yourself wanting more, I've opened up some bespoke one-to-one coaching sessions where we'll go through what next steps you can tangibly take if you find yourself here, what freedom looks and feels like for you, and what your rights as an employee facing these challenges are. Psychopaths in the workplace are more often than not scared of your potential. This is your life. Think about these steps and own your outcome. A more free, light, energized life you love. Screw them. Hello, your best you.